Globalization has also affected how companies do business around the world, not just countries. And we're going to talk about a case study of McDonald's. McDonald's was founded in California in 1948. Here's a picture of its very first store. Since 1948, other countries of the world have had McDonald's built, and you see in red all of the countries today that have one McDonald's, at least one McDonald's in them. There's some other facts and figures. Perhaps you didn't know that the tiny Asian country of Japan had more than 3,000 McDonald's outlets, and that the most expensive McDonald's burger is in the country of Norway. You have to pay $7.18 to get a burger from McDonald's there. McDonald's is one example of a multinational corporation. Here's the McDonald's arches, and these are all multinational corporations. What are they? They're companies that operate in many different countries. And multinational corporations have headquarters that are usually in developed countries, and they have factories that are usually in developing countries. There are benefits and drawbacks to these types of corporations. The benefits are that they create more jobs. They sell goods around the world that are recognizable. They also create inexpensive products. The drawbacks are that multinational corporations may treat workers poorly, and they may cause small local businesses to go out of business. Let's now move from talking about worldwide companies to studying how countries of the world are trying to use globalization to improve their economies. Many countries have joined international organizations to help regulate and stimulate the global economy. We're going to talk about this connection now. And these are a list of international organizations that have connected countries to one another. Please fill out the names of all of these international organizations on your notes. We're going to be talking about each one in a moment. First, the United Nations. It was founded in 1945, right after World War II. It has 193 member countries today. And the goal of this group is to keep peace, to fight poverty and disease, and to provide aid during any humanitarian crisis. Its headquarters is in New York City, and you see the countries of the world and their flags showing they are United Nations members. The United Nations membership has steadily increased since 1945. It started off with 51 members and has steadily increased since then. You see posters the United Nations created to promote itself, for understanding, for peace, the dove, the international symbol of peace with the olive branch. Another poster here shows you how the United Nations has poverty and developing countries in mind, help the other half to catch up. Another international organization is the European Union, the EU. It was founded in 1992 after the fall of the Berlin Wall in Germany. It has 28 member countries now. They are located in Europe, and the group's goal is tariff-free trade. This team of countries trades with each other without having to pay taxes on their imports. And the European Union has 19 countries that share the same currency to make buying and selling goods easier. And the name of that currency is the euro. Here are some euro bills and euro coins. And the euro sign is shown right here. Looks a little bit like the dollar sign. The European Union has become quite a trading bloc. And this graph just shows you the power of the European Union. When these countries band together, their GDP and their wealth is quite substantial. Another international organization is the World Trade Organization. It was founded in 1995. It has 161 member countries, and the group's goal is to regulate international trade. The WTO members account for 97% of world trade. And you see its headquarters here in Geneva, Switzerland. Here are a map of World Trade members. The founding members are in maroon, and the subsequent members are in lighter red. As you can see, this is most of the world we're talking about. There have been critics of the World Trade Organization who say they have partnered with big business and with powerful countries. And they've left out the little guy. The little guy could be small businesses in countries. It could be poorer countries of the developing world. But one criticism is that the World Trade Organization widens the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Another international organization is the North American Free Trade Agreement. It was founded in 1994, and there are only 3 members: the US, Canada, and Mexico. And the group's goal is to eliminate tariffs and trade restrictions in these 3 countries. It is to North America what the European Union is to Europe. And this political cartoon shows you a criticism that America has about NAFTA. Uncle Sam is on the phone and he is not happy. I don't know, I keep losing socks in it. Socks being jobs, and this washing machine being a symbol for the agreement. Have US workers lost jobs to Canada and Mexico? According to this cartoonist, yes. NAFTA has done some good. This chart shows you that. The GDP growth since NAFTA was formed in 1994. US, Canada, and Mexico all have seen a substantial increase in GDP. It's a good thing. 2 other international organizations are the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Monetary meaning money. And both of these organizations provide aid to developing countries. The IMF loans money to keep an economy stable, and they encourage foreign investment. And the World Bank loans money for specific projects, whether they be power plants or hospitals. The World Bank loans. You see how many countries have taken advantage of World Bank loans. Many of these countries are developing countries that need to support their people and the population which is growing. And the circle is the total amount of the loan, and the darker blue inner circle is the amount of loan that has been paid back by the country. The IMF and the World Bank have their share of critics. This is a protest sign. The IMF and the World Bank equals hundreds rich, but billions poor. The criticism here is that the IMF and the World Bank widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots, between the wealthy developed countries and the poorer developing countries. We are almost done. Please now refer to your summary questions and answer those. Lastly, a preview. Next week, we're going to be talking about modern terrorism. And that photograph, I'm sure, elicits some emotion in you. America was attacked on September 11th, 2001. We'll talk more about this event and other terrorist attacks in the modern world next week. Until then, be well.